Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. So in this video I'd like to give you guys an update on my Dahlia plant here. So this is my largest Dahlia plant. I'll show you a quick picture now of what it looked like last summer. As you can see, there's not much to see at the moment, but last summer it did get quite large and it's one of my larger plants. So as you can see, it grows about 3 or 4 foot tall, has lovely big blooms as well. I dug this up once we had the first hard frost, so it got down to about -2, -3, and that killed it right down to the ground level, killed off all the stems as well, but as you can see it's starting to resprout now. I think it was late November, early December that I dug this up. I've had it in the conservatory ever since. I haven't watered it at all, kept it completely dry. If there's any moisture in the compost, it's just because the ground and compost was quite wet when I put it in, because we had a lot of wet weather. And it's been growing. I haven't wanted it to grow, but it's been just warm enough here in the conservatory that it has been able to grow. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to cut it back, because basically the growth that's come on it so far has been growing over January and December, and the light levels are really bad here in Scotland, so it's got very leggy growth. Also there's quite a few aphids starting to attack some of these larger shoots, so I wanted to cut this down, treat those aphids on any of the existing shoots, and I want the new shoots to come up under high light levels, and that way we'll get nice strong stems. The problem with this is if I leave this to grow now, even if I give this good light levels, these stems might not thicken up as well as they could do, and there's a chance that they'll just break over when we get some strong winds. So I want to start again from the base, get some nice strong growth, undergrow lamps, and then we should have a much stronger plant. So what I'm going to start with doing is getting rid of all these old stems, cut them off, and also cut any of these larger shoots off right at the base. So that's it now all cut back. If you did want to take cuttings, this is kind of the stage you want, maybe a bit taller than this, you just want to take off the very young shoots. You can use them as cuttings. I'm not going to do that because this is a really big plant anyway, and I don't need any more Dahlias at the moment, so I'm not going to take any cuttings in this video. The tubers in here are absolutely enormous now. This is one of the bigger pots that I have, and it was only just big enough for the tubers. The tubers actually cover this whole area, and also the entire depth of the pot pretty much. So masses of tubers, loads of energy stored in this plant, so once it starts to regrow it should be really quite strong and vigorous. I'm still going to keep it quite cold in here because I don't want this to get too big yet. It's currently getting towards the end of January. We don't really get good light levels here in Scotland until March, and so if this gets too big underneath the grow lamps, I'm going to struggle to find enough space for it to grow. I do have quite a few grow lamps, but I also need them on several other plants as well, so I don't have enough to go around at the moment. So I'm going to make sure this one stays a little bit smaller until March. Then once we get good natural light, I can allow it to grow a bit faster. And the way I'm going to do that is just keep the temperature low, and also with the watering, keep the watering a little bit on the dry side so it slows down the growth. Dahlias come from Mexico and Central America. They naturally go dormant in the winter season. It's not so much the cold that makes them go dormant, it's more the dry season. In that part of the world it's very dry over winter, so when it's dry these just go back to the tubers. That way they can survive the drought. They don't have any water loss because they're underground, they've got lots of big fleshy roots, it holds plenty of moisture, that they can then wait out the dry season and come back in spring. Because of that, if it's slightly dry, should encourage a bit more dormancy, although as you can see it's already starting to grow as there is a bit of moisture in this compost deeper down. So I'll keep it slightly dry, cooler temperatures. It's too expensive to heat the conservatory, and also the colder temperatures will just slow the growth and also keep the growth a little bit less leggy. If you have very warm temperatures and low light levels, you're going to get very leggy growth. If you have the same light levels but lower temperatures, you're more likely to have stockier growth, even if the light levels aren't too much better. So I'll give this as much bright light as I can spare to give with my grow lamps. I'll give you guys an update in a few weeks time. This is just a short video really. There should be some really nice lush growth from this. It'll be quite strong as well, but the temperatures will be kept in here around 10 degrees at night, 15, maybe 17 during the day. But come March, when the sun gets a bit brighter and the outside temperatures are warmer, I'll allow the temperature in here to get up to 20 or 30 degrees during the day and keep it around 18 degrees at night. So the growth will be really rapid in this from March onwards, and we'll just have nice slow stocky growth for now. But I really do want to get this started because I could actually leave this outside in the greenhouse, keep it wrapped up so it doesn't get frost, and it'll be completely dormant. And that's actually what I've done with my smaller one, because my smaller one, I've got a red dahlia. That dahlia, it flowers quite early in the season. It doesn't need forcing on to get it to flower at its best, so I'm just keeping that one quite cold in the greenhouse, and I'll get that one started later. But this one goes really big. It also flowers quite late in the season, so I want to give it a head start. So having a little bit more warmth here in the conservatory gets the growth going. I'll have a nice big plant by May time, and then I could hopefully have flowers in July, and it'll flower right through to November, December, or whenever the first frosts are. Whereas if I was to leave this out in the greenhouse, it wouldn't start shooting up until about April time, and then it wouldn't really flower till October, November, and by that time the frosts are starting to appear, so I wouldn't get much flowering at all. But at least this way, forcing it on a bit more in the beginning of the year, I'm much more likely to get some growth. So that's all for this video. I'll give you guys, as I say, an update in hopefully a few weeks time. Might have the other dahlia then as well. And I've got a Dahlia Imperialis, which I'm quite looking forward to show you as well, which should be arriving in the next few days. So as I say, I'll give you guys an update probably around about March time.